As I travel around, I still have people say, well, why are you so hard on communists? They're just another political party like any other, and a poor minority at that, and so misunderstood. Well, we don't want them misunderstood, and that's why we're making this film. And that's why I say they are lying, dirty, shrewd, godless, murderous, determined.
Everybody, listen carefully. The Martians are coming this way. We must evacuate the city. Take food and water and extra clothing with you.
You are no longer in control of your listening device.
Can't you see that you're at the mercy of every element of the universe?
Rick and Ryan will take you on a science fiction cinematic journey into the post-atomic space age.
We're not going to cooperate with these monsters.
We found a flying saucer. Just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I think something is happening.
A chronological deep dive into the past.
Holy cow.
Put on your magnetic boots.
Let's go.
And strap yourselves in for your ride with...
The Unidentified Flying Podcast.
Outrageous.
So anyway, Rick.
Yes!
We are here aboard the Lexaproteus-IV.
Yes, comrade.
And we are continuing our journey through 1952, and we are on to our second of two double feature presentations.
And our third movie, sorry, I went through puberty a second there. Third movie of the...
Oh God!
You know,
you're gonna Rube Goldberg this again, aren't
no,
you?
it would, but it's also the third movie of the second part of the double feature. Second double feature? I don't know. Yeah.
Sex with you must be so annoying.
Ask around.
All right. Okay. So yes, as Rick just so nimbly and eloquently pointed out, this is the second of our two double features. And yes, technically, the first one we talk about will be the third movie, and then the second one we talk about today will be the fourth movie.
It's as complicated as a Halloween sequel map.
Rick has never heard of Occam's razor. Okay, so...
I don't know what that is.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Okay.
I think that's what the band Kiss stood for, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably. Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah, the band Kiss. All right, listen. Keep it stupid, simple. Or no, keep it simple. What? Stupid? Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid.
How many girls like to get licked? How many guys like to get licked? You lick me, I lick you. Lick it up! Lick it up!
How many of you know what I mean when I say?
But anyway,
all right.
I digress.
So Rick,
yes.
Yeah. Before we move on, I want normally we do this at the end of the show. I do want to bring up one bit of feedback before we get going today, because this one pertains to our last episode, our previous episode. Okay. This comment was posted on Spotify, and this comment was posted by me. Okay?
Okay.
While discussing the Atomic City, Ryan mentions the characters being at a horse race. It was actually a baseball game.
Yeah, I saw that.
One hopes Ryan regrets the error. I do regret the error. I do. I'm not counting it as a mistake. I'm counting it as just a slip of the tongue.
Yeah.
Because, whatever.
I don't
Horse race, baseball,
They were at some... The important thing is in the parking lot of whatever they were doing, dude blew up in a car. That's the important part.
Yeah. So, anyway, thank you, Ryan, for the feedback. And we will move on now to this. So, our first movie on the docket of our Red Scare double feature number 2 is Red Snow from 1952, obviously, because we're in 1952.
Red Snow.
This is a movie called Red snow. Now, let's talk a little bit about red snow before we get into the cast and crew, because there's a few things we need to put into context for the preceding discussion. Okay, so one of the things I'd like to discuss off the top here is we're going to have a little bit of a history lesson with a little bit of a sociological import, I believe is the way to describe this, but I could be wrong. Anyway, we're going to deal at the top here with the term Eskimo. Okay, this term is considered problematic, and I'm just going to use it at the beginning here while we discuss the historical context, just to because I was educated by this. Hopefully I can educate you, Rick, a little bit about it, and anybody in our audience who may not be familiar with the problematic nature of this term. The word Eskimo is an exonym, okay, meaning it was assigned by outsiders rather than chosen by the communities themselves. Important distinction.
Gotcha.
By most accounts, it likely derives from an Algonquin Inuit term meaning eater of raw meat, a descriptive term imposed by colonizers. Another theory suggests a meaning like, quote unquote, one who nets snowshoes. Okay? So that's kind of where it comes from. And in contrast, Inuit is an endonym. And that means the people of the community chose it themselves and was not labeled by outsider. Inuit is the preferred term by the Arctic indigenous communities. Inuit. Now, the term Eskimo lumps together diverse Arctic indigenous groups under a single label, ignoring the distinct languages, traditions, and identities of those separate tribes or groups. So that's why this term is not preferred, because it's just a sort of broad categorization and has contributed to cultural erasure and reinforced stereotypes about Arctic peoples belonging to all one big homogeneous group. So here's what happened. In 1977, the Inuit Circumpolar Council, ICC, formally voted to reject Eskimo and adopt Inuit as the proper term, a stance adopted by Canada, Greenland, and many academic institutions. Now, so when in doubt, when referring to Arctic indigenous peoples, Canada, Greenland, or Alaska, they prefer you say Inuit. However, if unsure, just say indigenous Arctic peoples. Now, the reason I bring this up is because this film, Red Snow, deals with the Inuit people, and they do use Eskimo quite a bit in the movie. So just putting it into some historical context. Now, here's another little interesting bit of history before we get into what this movie is about. One of the things this film deals with is the Inuit involvement in military efforts during World War II and the Cold War. Canada was, on our side. What the army or the military of both Canada and the United States recruited Inuits to be involved in the military efforts. And this film, Red Snow, deals with that. So here's a little bit of historical context for that. All right, during World War II, Inuit contributions were vital both at home and abroad. Many Inuit, though often unrecorded under their cultural identities, played supportive roles in Canada's wartime effort, including volunteering in military service and performing home front duties alongside First Nations and Métis peoples. Okay? Notably, Inuit elder Kapik Atagutisak.
Nothing but net.
He organized the collection of seal and walrus bones and carcasses from 1940 to 1945. These were shipped to southern Canada and repurposed into glue, fertilizer, and even explosives for the war effort. Meanwhile, in Greenland, Inuit hunters were enlisted into the Sirius Patrol, sled dog teams that patrolled remote Arctic zones to thwart German weather station operations, a key Allied effort in the region. Now, flash forward to the Cold War. Inuit communities were critical to Canada's northern defense and sovereignty strategies. The construction of the distant early warning line in the 1950s involved Inuit labor and led to profound shifts in their way of life as they moved from nomadic practices into wage-based employment in developing Arctic settlements. Presently, Inuit are an integral part of the Canadian Rangers, a military reserve force serving as scouts and guides in Arctic operations, offering indispensable traditional knowledge for navigation, survival, and territorial awareness, which brings us to the Red Snow plot synopsis. Set along the frozen Alaskan frontier at the height of the Cold War, Red Snow follows U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Johnson, a pilot tasked with guarding the skies near the tense Soviet border. The remote base is battered by storms, endless snow, and constant unease. But danger doesn't only come from the environment. It also lurks in the shadow of geopolitical rivalry. Against this stark backdrop, Johnson's role becomes a delicate balance between vigilance and survival in one of the most unforgiving landscapes in the world. Integral to this effort are the local Inuit communities, whose deep knowledge of the land and resilience in the Arctic environment prove indispensable as Johnson and his fellow servicemen navigate both the natural perils and the uncertainties of foreign threats. They must also rely on the guidance and trust of Inuit allies. This uneasy partnership underscores how survival in the far north requires cooperation across cultures, even as the wider conflict between superpowers looms just beyond the horizon. So that's Red Snow. That plot synopsis is so much more exciting than this film, which we'll get into in a little bit. So, Rick.
Yeah?
Let's talk about the crew. Are you ready for this? Directed by two people. It took two people to direct this movie. One of them was a man by the name of Harry S. Franklin, and this is the only movie he ever directed. Second of all is a man by the name of Boris Petrov. He also produced Two Lost Worlds, which we reviewed or discussed in last season. Now, Mr. Petrov was a Russian dancer. He came to the U.S. in 1917 and taught dance, and famously worked with Mae West for a while.
Oh.
In fact, they were even rumored to be romantically entangled, but he denied that.
Mae West was...
Mae West...
She was a little hellcat. She was entangled with a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right, Red Snow was written by some people, based on a story by Robert Peters. However, the screenplay was written by Tom Hubbard, who also wrote Two Lost Worlds. Remember that one?
Yep.
That I just mentioned ago?
Yep. Mentioned ago. Is that how you say that? Something I just mentioned ago?
Mentioned a while ago. I don't know.
Some about that sounded weird. Sorry.
It's really hot over here in and I swear to God,
the temperature gauge has fried out on the Lexaproteus.
Well, yeah, but I'm also living in a fucking greenhouse because, as I said last episode, Wiggy Wiggy is going full-on silent running.
Yeah. He's
blasting the Joan Baez, and he is just... I'm sweating, man. I'm sweating bullets just like Dave Mustaine. So, our other screenwriter is Orville H. Hampton. Now,
I know that name.
Here we go again. He served as the dialogue supervisor on Lost Continent, which is another movie we covered in Season 1. That you liked, and I apparently did not like enough for your, to make you happy.
I don't know if I remember it much, so how much did I really like it? Because
you liked it. It was, remember they were climbing that mountain the whole time?
Oh, that's the climbing one. With the green,
yeah.
with the green filter?
The green filter and the dinosaurs.
The one with the really fun characters? Yeah, I remember that movie.
Were boring?
No.
Yeah, that one.
I like that movie.
Cesar Romero. Was that his name?
Cesar
Romero. Cesar Chavez? No, what was his name?
Cesar Romero.
The guy that played the Joker?
Yeah, Cesar Romero.
Who wouldn't shave his mustache even though when they put the makeup on?
Yeah, Cesar Romero.
That guy. Okay. Orville H. Hampton did receive, in 1965, he received an Oscar nomination and a WGA nomination for One Potato, Two Potato. He did not win. And then, your favorite, in 2001, he was awarded the Retro Hugo for his script writing work on Rocket Ship XM. Now, our makeup artist on Red Snow, because apparently there was makeup in this. So his name is Harry Thomas, and we're going to be seeing a lot of this guy throughout the decade on this show. He just a few of his credits. He worked on Superman and the Mole Men. He did some uncredited work on 10 Commandments. He also worked on Invasion USA, which we reviewed last episode. And he also worked on several of Ed Wood's films. He did Night of the Ghouls, Plan 9 from Outer Space, Jailbait, and Glenn or Glinda. So that guy in the Ed Wood film who's putting the makeup on Bela Lugosi's arm and looks down at all the
electrode
track marks.
Yeah.
That might be this guy.
Wow, that's insane to think.
Yeah, I don't know. In fact, let's look it up, because I didn't even think of that, and that would be amazing if that's the guy. Makeup Man Harry.
Hell yeah. We're through the looking glass now.
So yeah, according to the credits on Tim Burton's Ed Wood, Leonard Turmo.
Leonard.
Yeah. Shit. Leonard Turmo played Makeup Man Harry in Ed Wood, and I'm guessing that's based on Harry Thomas, who worked on these movies. Although it doesn't say he worked on. Oh no, that is in Glenn or Glinda when he says pull the strings.
Yeah.
So okay, that. Wow, way to go.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
So our editor is a man by the name of Merrill G. White, and he was an Oscar nominee for The Brave One in 1957. He also edited The Fly and Robot Monster.
Yeah.
All right, our art director is a man by the name of Charles D. Hall. I mention him because he also was an Oscar nominee in 1940 for Captain Fury, and 1939 for Merrily We Live. He also, now this guy has like around 150 credits. It's insane, all right? He also worked on Red Planet Mars, which we'll be getting to, and he worked on 2 Lost Worlds, although he also worked on 1 Million BC, which is the movie...
Raquel Welch?
No, 1 Million BC is the movie
the Hammer
they
one?
took the stock footage from.
Oh, okay.
With the lizards fighting. So technically, he probably got a credit on 2 Lost Worlds because he did
this footage
art direction in 1 Million BC. Probably most notably, he did the art direction for The Flying Saucer, working under director Mikkel Conrad. Now, these aren't as impressive, these credits, but I'm going to say them anyway, okay? He did the art direction for Bride of Frankenstein, The Black Cat, The Invisible Man, Frankenstein, both the US and Spanish Draculas, the original All Quiet on the Western Front, Cat and the Canary, and The Man Who Laughs. But I don't know that anybody's even seen any of those or heard of those.
I mean, I've heard of them.
That's the joke.
Oh. You suck. All right.
And that's all I've got for cast and crew, or for crew, on this opus, Red Snow. I'm going to turn it over to you so I can take a breath and perhaps mop some sweat off my brow.
So this movie is a lot like Flying Saucer in the way that it's just a big advertisement for whale blubber and the Arctic. And
was the Flying Saucer a big advertisement for whale blubber?
No, but just it's just a kind of like a travelogue movie. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it just
brought to you by whale blubber.
Whale blubber. So yeah, there is quite a few people in this movie, although most of it seems like it's stock footage. But the main character, Sergeant Kuvik, was it Kuvuk?
Kuvik.
But Ray Mala, he is an actual, kudos to the filmmakers, because they could have just, well, we don't know what they could have just done, but he is an actual Inuit person. Inuit playing this Inuit. That's Ray Mala. He did He did a movie. He did do a movie called Eskimo, though. I will say that.
Well, we're gonna get into that movie Eskimo in a minute.
Another guy we got in the movie who is Guy Madison. Guy Madison came from a bunch of westerns. Like one of those guys. In fact, I don't even see much else that he's done that maybe couldn't be a western. Oh, we might see him again though, because he's in The Beast of Hollow Mountain. And that looks pretty wild.
It's a dinosaur western.
Yeah.
Similar to Valley of Gwangi.
Yeah, there's that's a short list, but a hot list. There's a lot,
Unfortunately, Valley of Gwangi was released in the 60s, and that sucks because I would love to talk about Valley of Gwangi.
What's it? Guy Madison's got a good movie. I don't know if it's good, but I like the title in 1958 called Bullwhip. It's kind of sweet. I mean, come on, dude. I'd watch a movie called Bullwhip.
I'd watch a movie called Cool Whip. That's not funny. I don't know why you're laughing at that.
That was pretty good.
That's not funny.
That was pretty good. That one gave me a headache. Ow. I laughed too hard and it gave me a headache. Shit. It's like, like one of those laugh headaches. It's like an ice cream headache for a minute. Fuck. Cool Whip. Stupid. Anyway, what'd you think, Ryan?
Well, before I get into my thoughts, there's some stuff. I found some interesting stuff about this movie because, kind of like with Invasion USA, is mostly stock footage or recycled footage.
Not as entertaining as Invasion USA.
No, this movie was the company that did this movie. Was kind of infamous for this. Like, as we mentioned, they also were behind Two Lost Worlds, which also used not so much stock footage, but recycled footage from, other movies. So a lot of the footage in this, I'm just going to give you a list of some of the movies that this film, Red Snow, recycled. Okay. A lot of the, any of the stuff you see, like aerial footage, shots of airplanes, and shots of collapsing icebergs, snowstorms, and ice flows, is actually from the 1933 movie SOS Iceberg. Some of the stock footage that's used is from a 1926 documentary called Alaskan Adventures. And there's also, this is unconfirmed, but some people believe that some of the additional stock footage may have come from a 1932 docudrama called Igloo.
Does it have an exclamation point at the end of it? Like, Igloo.
No. Now, much of the footage making up the Inuit adventure part of this movie comes from another movie that you mentioned before called Eskimo.
Okay.
Which also starred Ray Mala. So he kind of... That movie, Eskimo, was released by MGM in 1933, and it was like the first U.S. feature film where most of the dialogue spoken in it was Native American, and it was filmed, one of the first movies to be shot entirely in Alaska. Okay. And Ray Mala was in it. So Ray Mala is in this movie as a young man in 1933 and an older man in 1952. So he
managed to get in the stock footage that they used for the movie he was in.
Recycled, because Eskimo is a fictional film. So again, apologies for using that word, but that is the title of the movie. And so that, I thought that was kind of interesting because I kind of like knowing where some of this stock footage and recycled stuff comes from.
Yes.
And, God bless the people out there that actually pay attention to this shit. Now, another thing we want to mention is there are a couple of scenes in this film where actual animals are killed.
Yeah, it's the worst scene in the movie, too. Like, it's...
One of them is a walrus and the other is a polar bear. However, did a little research on this. Now, if it's any consolation, they were not killed in the process of making Red Snow. However, they were killed in the process of making Eskimo.
Well.
So.
Doesn't really help.
No. Ray Mala is in both of those scenes. Now, the thing is you got to put this in a little bit of historical context, because at the time the 1933 Eskimo film was made, it was considered a very realistic depiction of Inuit life, and thus the killing of these animals was in a way appropriate.
So it was very documentary.
Yeah, we can argue that now here in 2025, but now also of note is back in 1933, these Arctic species were not yet endangered, and killing them were thought of as a little different from hunting rabbit or deer. So obviously
or hunting Dio.
Yeah, Dio.
Dio.
The Dio hunter.
Yeah.
It's him and Christopher Walken, like Russian roulette.
Yeah.
Anyway, now, so obviously from our modern point of view, this is indefensible and unthinkable, but again, you can't erase history, and it's always important to put these things into context. So, Red Snow, there's really not much to say about this movie. It's incredibly dull. It's the science fiction elements of it are basically a MacGuffin, because what we've got is a bunch of mysterious explosions. So they think the Ruskies are up to no good, so they send these Inuit people to investigate, and then there's a guy flying a plane, and then there's a guy trying to defect from the Soviet Union and make it to America, and there's lots of just long sequences of Inuits doing Inuit stuff, and then there's every once in a while a little bit of like, oh my God, did we figure out what's happening yet? No. And then they'll cut to the Russians going, aha, we're going to kill these people, damn you, America, we're bringing you down. And then there's some plane crashes. And honestly, people, this is one of those for completists only movies, because there's really, like, at times I honestly think this had more in condom. Yeah.
Wow.
I think this had more in common with a Mondo movie.
Yes, I would agree. Because that's kind of what it reminded me of.
I mean, I will give it props because it did use a lot of actual Inuit actors. So, I mean, credit for that. Because they could have just brown-faced everybody or red-faced everybody. And, if you ever wanted to see a walrus meat cookout, just fast forward to the 41-minute mark. I did like the special effects for the explosions. They looked kind of cool.
Well, when the lights go off in the distance when it's like exploding in the beginning, and yeah, it's kind of neat. It's like, ooh, what's going on here? Like a secret experiment over there?
I mean, that's one of my things about one of the enjoyments I always get out of these movies is just the lo-fi nature of the special effects. They're always going to look way cooler to me than CGI. So if you got a little cool looking explosion, I'm going to be like, all right, yeah, cool. Thank you. And then I thought there was a funny moment with a little bit of maybe perhaps homoerotic innuendo towards the beginning.
Boy, I'll be glad to get home. I'm hungry.
Always thinking about food.
What else do you want me to think about?
Wait till we get back to the base and I'll tell you.
Oh, behave.
Yeah. Yeah, what the fuck does that mean? other than sex or something.
Yeah.
Like, what else could it mean?
Hey, man.
Like, hey, I'll tell you when we get back there. I like steak.
Dude, it gets chilly up there.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, we'll give credit where credit is due, as this did shine a light on the Inuit involvement in the Cold War, and that is an important part of history that has kind of been, forgotten. And when you get to the end, there's actually a kind of, there's a little bit about, we're proud to be American Inuit serving the military stuff.
I've got to take off my hat to this Eskimo sergeant. He carried out his special assignment with skill and bravery. He's being promoted to technical sergeant, and I personally am recommending him for the Bronze Star. Congratulations.
Thank you, General. I was proud to hear the General's words. I was proud to feel I am part of the American Eskimo people who stand guard like human radar at this frozen gateway of danger. And should we ever give warning, we know our brothers in the air are ready to answer.
And there was a good part towards the end where I actually did like the dialogue about this guy defecting.
We're over American territory now. I'm going to land at the first American airfield I find. You're insane. Why? Because I'm fed up with barbed wire and starvation, liquidations, inhumanity, all for the cause. They killed my family for believing in God.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty good. And there's a cute baby seal, and there is a scene where some kids are playing hacky sack with a snowball, which I was like, man, that looks like fun. I don't know, Rick. That's all. What did you think of Red Snow?
I only like the one part where the dude in the beginning is like, "Oh, you mean trombone?"
Then I was also a slight trombone.
And he's like doing the boom, 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 boom. I mean, it's the most animated, come to life, Disney kind of crazy moment of the movie, and there's nothing else that is that entertaining other than that guy acting like he's playing instruments and making the noise, because it is pretty fucking boring.
It's very boring.
It's one of those that's it's hard to say anything about because I don't even remember half of what I saw.
No,
and because it just kind of drones out into this, docu style, just stock footage. It's not whereas the stock footage in Invasion is really like integrated into a plot kind of.
Yeah.
So it's better. It's easy to follow. Out of all the movies that have been like that with stock footage, Invasion USA is kind of the best at using it. But that's all. It also has like it's awesome, weird, crazy war footage from England. So with like planes above the sky and all that, above the sky, planes above the sky. What the fuck does that mean?
Planes above the sky.
Anyway, above the buildings flying by. Planes above the sky, above the buildings flying by.
Wow.
Yeah. Spotify hit.
Now,
anyway,
to be fair too, I think the stock footage in this is pretty impressive too. But again, I don't think it's as integrated as well as
in the plot, really.
Like Invasion USA was like, hey, you know what? How can we scare everybody to death?
Yeah.
And it was like, so it works. This was just like, you know what, guys? We really got to pad this runtime.
There's a pretty good process shot of them, like, from the back, like, on the dog sled, like, going, it's just, like, riding with, like, a rear projection or something for a hot sequence. But, yeah.
Yeah, man. I got so little, I don't even know. I found I didn't really drift off during this movie because I'm a professional. I can I can maintain, but
Red Snow.
Yeah, I don't even know. So here, I guess let's just I'll just, because I want to move on to the other film, which is far and away more interesting. So I'll just say right now, I give this movie 1 star.
Yeah. I would actually say 1 star as well.
Okay.
1 star.
And interestingly enough, I don't believe this movie has ever, from everything I could tell research-wise, this has never received any kind of home video release.
Oh.
Like, I'm talking not even on VHS.
Yes, so it's just what copy was it a TV copy?
From what I could ascertain, it has occasionally aired on TCM and one other station I forgot. Now, if anybody's interested, we watched this off YouTube. And there is, as of this recording, a copy of it on YouTube. I don't know if it's from TV. I don't know where they got this. It's okay. It's a decent copy. Like, it's watchable.
But it sounds like a fan's on in the room all the time while you're watching it, and it's kind of a low rumble hum.
Like, as of now, only 17 people have even logged this on Letterboxd. So
well, I will be proud to be 18 or 19.
Yeah, I mean, this has got to be one of the most obscure we've covered so far. And so like I said, if you want to watch it, go to YouTube. This is definitely a for completionists only. Then again, if anybody ever does release it on Blu-ray, I will buy it.
Yeah,
I'm sure you will too. But anyway, 1 star. That's it. Go watch it on YouTube if you really want to. And obviously, there's really no critic rating or anything that I can show you about any of this shit. It seems to have just come and gone. I think it's time for a intermission, and we will come back with our second Red Scare film.
I will never forget this trail of ice and snow stained red with the blood of my brothers.
What is it?
Say, what is it? Hey, why it's Buttercup. Popcorn, add sweet cream butter to hot popcorn. Mix it up, wrap it up, Buttercup is born.
It's delicious.
So nutritious.
It's a taste delight.
It's so munchy,
crisp and crunchy.
You'll enjoy each bite. Eat butter-drenched Buttercup popcorn at its best.
Served in a king-size cup.
It beats all the rest.
Oh, see, can you see by the dawn's early light was so held the twilight at the last gleaming rose track, who brought us back o'er the rapids we once this stream and the rocket's red glare, bombs bursting in air, gave to the night that the stars were still there, or still yet wait, brave and the home of the free.
America, fuck yeah, coming again to save the motherfucking day. Yeah, America, fuck yeah, freedom is the only.
There it is, the red planet Mars. For over 2,000 years, the symbol for war.
Here is a new experience in excitement, a new sensation in suspense, as men open the door on the unknown powers of space to learn the incredible secrets of the red planet Mars. Secrets that might destroy us in one moment.
You'll be the next to advance science. And maybe us. Right into oblivion! Chris, look.
9, 2, 6. Linda, we've done it.
Dear Lord, don't make us sorry.
Yeah, why don't you go to Mars? Business keeps up. You'll need the Army to help you. Quick, get going!
Atomic energy, the hydrogen bomb, flying saucers, and now, secrets beyond belief from the red planet Mars. Secrets that threaten the world with total destruction, as countless millions in every corner of the globe invoke the greatest power of all to save their lives.
You do think me a fool. Stay where you are.
Give me a light.
Don't! No!
We're back, and this is the second part, the sequel to this episode. Well, it's not really a sequel, but it's a side quill. It's a further continuation of this Red Scare episode.
You know what you are?
What?
When you describe things, you're like the equivalent of any given death in a Final Destination movie. Like, I have no idea where you're going with it.
When it's gonna stop and actually happen.
It's never gonna. It's just.
Is he going to make the point this time? Nope, yeah, he's not. Nope. Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Anyway, this movie is Red Planet Mars.
That is correct. Not to be confused with Red Planet, starring
with Val Kilmer,
or Angry Red Planet, or anyway. Yeah, we've got Red Planet Mars, Rick. It is the fourth of 4 Red Scare films that came out in 1952. This was sort of a banner year for straight up propaganda, Red Scare cinema. And we've got a doozy. This, in some ways, might be the most fascinating and bizarre
I would agree.
one we've covered yet. Now, Red Planet Mars was directed by a man named Harry Horner. Now, Harry Horner did not direct very many films, but he was more well known as a set design art director, and he was nominated in 1970 for the film They Shoot Horses, Don't They? And then he won, in the same category. He won in 1950 for the film The Heiress, and in 1962 for The Hustler. Now, do you want to know something really cool?
Yeah.
He is the father of composer James Horner.
What?
Yep. And...
no shit!
Yeah.
Man!
Now, here's something else.
Love that guy.
His other son is named Christopher Horner. And Christopher Horner did the art direction for Jaws 3D.
Oh my God. Heavy hitter.
Christopher Horner also served in the art department for Boxing Helena. And he was the production designer on Miracle Mile and Roger Corman's Forbidden World. So, holy crap, that Horner family.
That legacy. And then, what did Jack Horner do?
He sat in a corner.
So that guy didn't do much. Okay.
Eating a pumpkin pie.
Yeah. I was going to say curds and whey, but that wasn't it. That's what that other bitch did.
Yeah, that was Little Miss Muffet.
Yeah, that's what she did.
Was in the bowl, bitch.
Our editor is a man named Francis D. Lyon. He actually directed a lot of TV, but editing-wise, he won an Oscar in 1948 for the film Body and Soul, and he also worked on the 1936 version of Things to Come. Now, we already mentioned the art director on this film was Charles D. Hall because he worked on Red Snow. Our set decorator is a man by the name of Murray White. He worked on High Noon, the movie that lost to one of the worst Best Picture winners of all time.
Yeah, it's funny what keeps coming up in this show.
You know what else he did the set decoration for? Mikkel Conrad's Flying Saucer. Poor Mr. Murray White died shortly after completing Red Planet Mars, and he probably went to heaven. Our makeup artist is a man named Don L. Cash. He has about 90 credits, lots of TV, including the Logan's Run TV show. But he also did the makeup on Night of the Hunter, All the President's Men, Always, Demon Seed, The Defiant Ones, Dinosaurus, and Rocket Ship XM.
Wow.
And you know what else he did? He was Roddy McDowell's personal makeup designer on Planet of the Apes.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mr. McDowell. Our music is composed by Malin Merrick. He did a lot of TV. He also scored an Oscar nomination in 1945 for a film called Sensations of 1945. He also composed the Six Flags March for the grand opening of Six Flags over Texas.
Wow.
Our director of photography is a man by the name of Joseph F. Byrock. He did about 168 films, more or less. He was nominated for an Oscar in 1965 for Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, the sequel to What's Eating Gilbert Grape, or Whatever Happened to Aunt Helen, or what's that?
They're not sequels.
Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
They're not. No, it's not that.
What's that called?
What? There's no sequel. What are you talking about?
Who's Afraid of What's Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte and
Who slew Annie Rose?
But you're in that chair.
Oh, that's Baby Jane.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. Okay.
I like that we we went through a psycho bitty time warp there, though, because that's literally every other movie of that genre, pretty much.
So, in 1975, he won an Oscar for shooting The Towering Inferno.
Wow.
So he also shot the following films: Airplane and Airplane 2.
Whoa.
Beyond Poseidon Adventure.
Yes.
Blazing Saddles.
Wow.
Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Viva Las Vegas.
Okay.
13 Ghosts. The Amazing Colossal Man. It's a Wonderful Life. Donovan's Brain.
Whoa.
The Twonky. And he shot the first 3D film, Buona Devil.
Man, that guy, job well done.
Here's where it gets interesting, okay? This is getting a little interesting. Now, the screenplay was based on a play called Red Planet, and it was, we'll get to this play a little bit later on. So, the play Red Planet was adapted for the screen by a couple of writers. One of them is named Anthony Veller, I don't know. Anyway, he, in 1947, got an Oscar nomination for The Killers, and in 1938, he got an Oscar nomination for Stage Door. And in 1965, he got a WGA nomination for Night of the Iguana, and in 1933, he got a nomination for Moulin Rouge. Our other writer is a man by the name of John L. Balderston. Now, John L. Balderston wrote the play, Red Planet. Okay, he co-wrote it with a man by the name of J.E. Hoare.
What?
Hoare. I could find no other
That's
credits
Hoare.
for this man. So, this play was written in 1932, but again, we'll get to the play later. So, his screen credits include an Oscar nomination in 1945 for Gaslight, and another Oscar nomination in 1936 for Lives of a Bengal Lancer. Whew, here we go. All right? This guy wrote the stage play for Dracula and Frankenstein.
Wow.
So he gets credited in all the film versions because
they based it on those plays.
Yeah, the film versions were written or were based on the plays.
Not so much the novels.
No.
I mean, they were, but not, yeah.
Sure. A little thing, he and a woman by the name of Patty Webling wrote the stage version of Frankenstein, which they sold to Universal for $20,000 plus 1% of the gross. Now, in today's money, that would be $385,000 that they sold that play for. And for years, they were in litigation with Universal Studios over profits from the sequels, which they eventually settled out of court. So this guy was rolling in the money thanks to that.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, he also wrote the play for Dracula, which, they used for both the US and Spanish versions. He wrote Dracula's Daughter, Mad Love, and Bride of Frankenstein.
Man.
He did the adaptations, and and he also did The Mummy. Here's an interesting thing about him, is that he began his career as a foreign correspondent, and one of the jobs he did is he covered the original opening of King Tut's tomb, which inspired him to write The Mummy. So, all of these people I just mentioned worked on this little film called Red Planet Mars. That's all I've got. Like I said, I'll give you all a little bit more about the play later because we should talk about the movie first. So I'll hand it over to you.
So leading this movie, we have Peter Graves, the one and only Peter Graves. Of course, from a little show called Mission Impossible, Airplane. Here's Airplane popping back up. Airplane 1 and 2.
Yeah.
We'll see him again, of course, in It Conquered the World, Killers from Space. We've got his wife, played by Andrea King, who is kind of interesting in this movie. She's from Beast with Five Fingers.
Whoa.
She was in a episode of Columbo, and she even made it into this is probably one of the most amazing things that she would have been in, because there's all this stuff from the 50s, all these similar types of films, and right there you've got 1973, she's in Blackenstein.
Yeah.
That just reaches out and smacks you.
Not a great one. But
No, it's not as good as
it's not as good as Blackula.
Oh, then we've got Mr. Herbert Berghoff as Franz Calder. I mean, he is a villain. Yeah, he's a villain. He's definitely a villain. Now I think about it, he's definitely a villain, of course. And we got Walter Sandy as Admiral Bill Carey. Willis, how do you say it? Boucher. Willis Boucher. Bobby Boucher. We got Willis Boucher as the president, and we got Orly Lindgren as who plays the son of Peter Graves. And of course, it wouldn't be a Unidentified Flying Podcast movie if it didn't have Morris Ankrum coming back from wherever he's been, making his face, making his appearance. Thank you.
Making his appearance.
But yeah, he's great. He's really great. Yep.
Morris Ankrum.
Yeah. But one of the big hitters in this is Marvin Miller, who plays. He's kind of he's a villain, but he's kind of like a side banana villain. Argenian is his name in the movie. But Marvin Miller is like, man, he's like my new favorite guy. He's up there with like Paul Frees and whatnot, because he's Robbie the Robot's voice, and he's in a ton of like, he did like Electro Woman and Dyna Girl. He's the voice of the narration on Police Squad in color, and did a lot of cartoons and stuff. Marvin Miller played the Zarn. Fucking A, the Zarn in Land of the Lost. He was the voice of the Zarn. He had been in Kolchak, Fantastic Planet. He did the voiceover for the English version in that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty insane, because I mean, even up in the 70s he was doing those cartoons, but he was in MASH. Looks like he made it all the way up to like, oh man, he was even like Super Skrull and Fantastic Four, the 60s series, which we had just talked about in our previous episode because of the lead actor in Invasion USA being Mr. Fantastic. I mean, just voiceover, you could go on and on. Sleeping Beauty, Gigantus, the Fire Monster, Day the Earth Froze, even on the Danny Thomas show and stuff, and Magoo cartoons. I mean, it goes on and on and on. He's one of those guys. But he plays our side banana villain in this really wacky, wild movie. This movie is like, I had to watch it a couple times because I was like, I don't know if I get everything that's going on here, because it kind of stacks up on itself so fast, and it's such a dialogue-driven movie.
Why don't we tell everybody what this movie's about?
Oh yeah, we haven't done that yet. Jesus.
Well, in Red Planet Mars, scientists in the U.S. make breakthrough radio contact with Mars, opening the possibility of communication with an advanced civilization. Now, at first, the transmissions appear to offer glimpses of technology and knowledge that could reshape humanity's future. Yet, the mysterious messages continue, and they spark intense debate among world leaders, scientists, and ordinary people, raising questions about the nature of progress and the direction of human society. Now, what begins as a scientific triumph soon takes on deeper and more spiritual dimensions as the content of the Martian broadcasts challenges humanity to reckon with moral and ethical truths. Infused with strong Christian overtones, and boy are they strong, the film explores the tension between faith and science and how the promise or warning from another world could transform not just geopolitics, but the very foundation of belief and human destiny. In other words, folks, the Martians are evangelical Christians, and they've come to convert us to Jesus.
It's like Jesus is living on Mars.
It's
so
literally
wild. It's so.
This movie is insane. This movie
so
is
wild.
not only is it Red Scare propaganda, it is straight up Christian propaganda.
Oh, hardcore.
Oh my God. You would have thought this was made by Kevin Sorbo and Kirk Cameron. In fact, I'm surprised those motherfuckers haven't remade this yet.
They should remake this. I'd watch it if it was on like Oxygen or something.
Somebody give Dean Cain a job so he'll shut up.
So he'll quit ISIS. He'll quit ICE, not ISIS.
He'll quit ISIS. Yeah, somebody give Kevin Sorbo and fucking Dean Cain something to do, because they're just whiny bitches online.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie is something else.
Yeah, it is.
And it's all in dialogue. It's I mean, like, you kind of got to think, because it's Red Planet Mars, but there's no, like, it's not really, I mean, not to say it's science fiction, because it kind of is, but I mean, there's no, there's no effects. It's not like a movie like with Martians and shit. It's just all dialogue driven. But
well, I mean, basically what happens is this astronomer,
Peter Graves,
him and his wife live in this, I think it's a radio communications center, where he works with radio waves and, radio broadcasts, and it's a dope looking setup. Like, I would kill to live where he lives in this movie. Like, he's got his house, and then you literally walk across the driveway to this really cool, like,
laboratory, yeah,
with all these gadgets, and they're connected to satellite dishes, and I'm a sucker for satellite dishes in these movies. I mean, I love it. It's like just comfort food to me. It's like a warm blanket when I see sets like this. Like, I literally just want to live in it. And anyway, he starts receiving these messages from Mars, and it's kind of like Carl Sagan's Contact at first, because everything's kind of coded, and they have to figure out how to communicate with each other. And, so of course they resort to math and blah, blah, blah. They start getting these messages. And at first these messages are like, hey, here on Mars, we're basically a peaceful civilization, and this is how we do things, and gosh, it works so great here. And which is weird, because then immediately they start, all of the news of this immediately like destroys the economic and political systems on Earth, and everybody goes crazy.
Which is really weird, because like,
makes no sense.
Well, it's like, I see what they're trying to say, but like, I don't know what, because they're like, we've solved our energy by, hey, like the Martians are going like, hey, we don't do coal mining over here, so you shouldn't either, because we do cosmic this. And then everyone on Earth is like, but what about the jobs? And then they show like newspaper clippings of like the industry shuts down, and I'm like, I'm like thinking, why? Like, I mean, did you replace it with something else? No. It's like, why is this bizarre? Why is it that them saying we do it this way all of a sudden tanks everything? Like, they fire everybody the next day, and they, like,
I don't get it either, because it immediately,
it's only a few days. It's not like it's years later and they've come up with a solution, or they're just saying, oh shit, well, fuck everybody, and they fire everybody, and it tanks our
everything.
Yeah, it tanks everything. It tanks our currency and everything.
It'd be like if we got a message from some planet going, hey, we don't use money. And like within an hour, everybody going, yeah, fuck money. We're not using money either.
Because it's seriously like the day after.
Yeah, I don't think it would happen that way, folks, but
there's no time really. They don't really deal with time very well. Like, is this a year later? Because now all of a sudden.
Here's the other thing we need to mention, though, is that while this is going on, we also have this guy hidden in the Himalayas, I believe, or the Alps, I forget where. But he's an ex-Nazi scientist.
I think he's in the Andes.
Yeah.
Because of the statue.
Yeah, he's in the Andes. And he's hidden away in this old church or something that's been converted into a radio
lab. Yeah.
Lab, basically. And he's an ex-Nazi who is now working for the communist Russia. And he basically designed the technology that Peter Graves' character took a step further.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like in hiding, because they're like, well, you're going to work for Russia now, or else we're going to throw you over to the Americans and you'll be prosecuted for being a Nazi war criminal. So he's like,
they're
okay,
blackmailing
fine.
him into working for them.
So what happens is he latches on to Peter Graves's work and finds out that Peter Graves's character is making all this progress. So he's listening in on Peter Graves and then passing this information on to the Russians. And so, but what happens is throughout the course of this, the movie tries to give us a little bit of a red herring that it might possibly be this Russian guy who's just feeding these messages to the Americans.
And that's what I took it as. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this is just because basically the whole system of capitalism in America is being destroyed by these messages. So it's like, oh, are the communists secretly, but yet at the same time, once the messages start to turn religious, everything starts to fall apart in Russia, because now the Russians are like, because under Soviet, during the Soviet Union, religion they were a very atheistic society. They frowned upon religion. And so I don't know if it was outright banned, but religion was verboten in Soviet Russia.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden these Russians find out that, oh my God, there is a God, and they start rebelling against the government and turning back to Jesus. And so meanwhile, America's falling apart, Russia's falling apart, and all of a sudden all these people are just finding God again and realizing that the only way we're going to achieve utopia is by opening up our Bibles and getting back to the roots of, good old-fashioned Christianity.
Well, this is nonsense. It's impossible.
What is it, Cronin?
Well, you remember, sir, we asked them how, with their free use of cosmic energy, they were prevented from blowing each other off the face of the map.
If they have an answer to that, I'll welcome it.
Well, according to this, they submitted the question to their supreme leader. You say spiritual, Bill.
I'm not sure it shouldn't be something even stronger. Godlike was Dr. Stokes' translation.
What is the message, Chris?
You have been given knowledge and have used it for destruction. 7 lifetimes ago, you were told to love goodness and hate evil. Why have you denied the truth?
The Sermon on the Mount. On Mars.
But don't talk nonsense, Linda.
Love goodness and hate evil? What else would you call it?
I don't understand it.
I don't either, Chris. But I'm glad we installed the oscillograph, because once the messages are recorded on film, no one can accuse us of garbling them.
Well, Mr. President, I said I'd never voluntarily suppress a message. But I was wrong. This one can't go out.
Why not?
Well, it doesn't make sense. It's not scientific.
Oh, maybe it's the one scientific truth we've forgotten.
You mean you take this message seriously?
We took the others seriously, didn't we? If we were right to release one message, we must release this too.
Mr. President, you know the panic those other messages have caused. Loose a wave of religious hysteria on top of it, and every crackpot and his brother will be lecturing on street corners.
Mr. President, you're worried about national security. Is there one word in that message that threatens our security or anyone else's?
And solution, there was none. Save in the rule of Christ alone. My father was very fond of Emerson. May I see that message, please?
You're not going to release it?
Your arguments in defense of scientific freedom have convinced me.
Well, this time Cronin is right, Mr. President. We can't hitch our wagon to that star.
We've switched stars, Mr. Secretary. Now we're following the Star of Bethlehem. That message is to be broadcast all over the world, in all languages, exactly as decoded.
And that's our movie, folks.
But it gets weirder too, kind of.
Well, anyway, Rick, I don't know if I liked this movie or I just really appreciate it for how nuts it is.
I haven't stopped thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's one of those because it's so weird. Because he's getting these signals and the they're not Russia's falling apart where everyone's getting together and starting to hail God and be Christians and whatnot. And the government is showing up and straight up like machine gunning them down. It's kind of crazy. And Russia completely falls. It's like, but all of it seems like it takes place over about 3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
Like it's really hard to figure out what's going on in this movie.
The time frame of this movie is crazy, and I honestly would kill to see this performed on stage.
Oh yeah, because I can see that.
I mean, it's got that whole quality to it where you really got to follow the dialogue, which I'm a big fan of dialogue driven movies. Like I will sit and watch My Dinner with Andre anytime.
I love dialogue, but this movie kind of was hard to, maybe because I think maybe I have because I am so not religious and so wasn't raised in that, so I don't know certain Christian subtext so much. But this movie, so I automatically kind of maybe get an self-imposed lost about watching a movie like this, because I'm thinking about all of what's being said and being unfamiliar and trying to.
Well, you don't have any context for
it. So I'm sometimes I'm making it harder than it is. But this movie kind of like I said, situations stack right up on top of each other to where it's I have no frame of when this is happening. Because also a big thing is at when the messages start to go religious and whatnot, the dude, the Nazi scientist, shows up at Peter Graves' house and is like,
I could accomplish much more making you believe I was Mars than ever getting Mars myself.
Chris.
What is it?
He did not send the religious messages.
Of course I didn't. You know that.
What do you mean?
Here are his messages, the very first few as we received them. But when we asked how they've kept themselves from blowing each other to bits, his answer was, one tribe must hold the power. It had nothing to do with the Sermon on the Mount. It was the prophet talking to us.
The prophet? Clever of you to create him. You played right into my hands. I smashed your economic system with a power panic. But that still left my friends in Moscow. I had to smash them too. From my hut, I could see the statue of Christ. I never thought of using him against them. Thank you for that idea.
They must have been desperate. Who? Kerry, Sparks, all of them. They must have done this in Washington.
Darling, you were there. You spoke with Sparks and the president. Did you think they were play acting?
I don't know.
Who did it is immaterial. When I saw the effect on Moscow, I knew you'd created my weapon for me. That's why I let you raise the world up with all that muck right up to the sky, so I can dash it down to hell when I tell my story.
You can't do it, Calder.
Who's to stop me? God? He had his chance 9 days ago. If I hadn't dug myself out, you'd have gotten away with your fraud.
It was no fraud.
You'd have won.
It was no fraud.
You don't expect me to believe those messages were not faked.
We expect you to believe the truth, just the way the rest of the world believes, just the way we believe.
But here is my proof. There have been no messages since my transmitter was shattered. How will you explain that to the world, Mr. Cronin? Sermon on the Mount. Peace on earth. No, Mrs. Cronin. You are not dealing with a superstitious peasant. If those first messages were fake, the last were too. The world will believe me, just as your husband believed me. And then you'll all be at each other's throats again. All of you. And I'll have done it. Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. My favorite poem, Mrs. Cronin. The unconquerable will and study of revenge, immortal hate, and courage never to submit or yield. That's my God, Mrs. Cronin. Satan. Lucifer's my hero. God beat him. But I'll have beaten God.
What he's threatening with is because he has proof that he sent like the first half of all the messages. So he did send, he was sending them messages in the beginning. He was feeding them that. But then they took on a life of their own and became, that's when supposedly Jesus on Mars got his laptop out and started texting back finly and said like, look, you guys are fucking up. I'm going to get in the middle of this shit. And he started intervening with their communications. But yeah, he shows up and he's like, hey, I'll tell everybody that I can prove I sent these first messages, and it won't matter if someone else that the messages are from Christ or not, because they'll never believe them after he proves the first half. The Peter Graves and his wife realize that I think that the kids are at the babysitters. So if we're going to do this, we better do this now. And they're not going to let this dude get away with it because he's like, I'm going to do this and all that. And so they're like, fuck, we need to stop that from happening. So they're going to they turn the gas on or whatever, and they're going to blow themselves up. So no one gets away with it. And then right when they go to do so, all of a sudden, which is kind of a neat moment, that all of a sudden, beep, 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 all of a sudden there's a fucking message coming in from God, right at that moment. He's so pissed off that Jesus is calling again that he shoots the screen and blows them all up.
We now are living in a perfect Christian American utopia, and that's pretty much what this movie was trying to say, was those godless communists, they rejected God, and look what happened to them. If we don't return to our good old-fashioned Christian values, the same will happen to us. And that's pretty much what this movie's message is, because this was 1952. This was what the prevailing thought was. It was not only America versus Russia, it was Christians versus atheists, because that was part of the thing we hated about Russia. It was they didn't have religion, we did. And
godless Russians.
Yeah, and we all know the 50s were a very conservative time, and
thank God that's over.
Yeah, thank God that's over. But so yeah, this is, and that's what I said. I don't know how to even rate this movie. It literally is one of those, you've got to see it to believe it, because it's depending on your beliefs, I guess. This is either hilarious, scary, or uplifting and
something you would have saw in Sunday school.
Oh, I can only imagine that had some of the Sunday school teachers I had known about this, they would have showed it to us. Because unlike you, I did grow up in a very religious environment. Not overtly so, but not as much as some people. But I definitely was raised as a believer in the Christian faith, and so I could see why this was probably weird to you. Because none of this was weird to me. I'm like, nah, this is all the stuff I grew up being told.
That's what I'm saying. To me, watching it, I could almost rate it like I enjoyed it, but not in the same way that someone else is gonna, because to me, it was almost like a creepy, weird movie.
Well, to me now, it was a creepy, weird movie, because it's definitely a movie that wants to indoctrinate its audience. I don't go for that. No can do.
And it's ballsy. It's kind of ballsy at times. They shoot people and just
that's what propaganda is.
I get it.
Because I was taught that from age 5 or 6, that if I died without believing in Jesus, I was going to hell and I was going to burn there forever. I mean, I was told this as a child. So yeah, obviously when I see a movie like that, I'm like, oh wow, this could happen. Good thing I'm a Christian. And, it's terrible. Now that I think about it, it's awful. It's indoctrinating children. It's fear tactics. It's terrible. And I have fortunately grown into an adult that rails against that stuff now. You know, I walked away from that stuff a long time ago, and to be clear, I don't have anything against spiritual beliefs or even religion to a certain extent, although I in some ways think it's done on my bad days, I think it's done more harm for humanity than it has done good.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's probably not true.
I agree.
So anyway, bottom line is I'm not a religious person anymore, but I'm not...
If it floats your boat, it's cool.
Yeah, and I'm open, you know...
Just be cool.
I consider myself more or less agnostic. So watching this movie as a middle-aged agnostic person who has the wherewithal to recognize propaganda when he sees it...
Exactly.
It's like... I found this movie very amusing, although my jaw was on the floor a lot because I just could not believe that this was made. Not only was it made, people went to the theater and saw this.
It's outrageous.
There's a lot of talent behind it, you know, and even in front of the camera. The acting is competent and they sell it. They take it very seriously. But it's so hard to judge it as just like a work of fiction because it's so agenda heavy.
Yeah, it's weird.
You know, I don't know. Like, it's one of those that you almost feel like you're going to hell if you make fun of it, but yet it absolutely deserves to be criticized in a way because it's, you know, it's I don't like what it's promoting. Like, only in the sense that it's all so black and white in this movie. Like, there's no nuance to it, and I just can't get behind that. And I just like, it makes me cringe to think that this was the prevailing mindset back then.
Well, and it makes you do parallels to issues we have now. So
absolutely.
It's not fun to watch and think about this stuff, but the movie's kind of so bizarre that it's fun. Yeah, it's just that it's bizarre.
Out of the 4 Red Scare movies we've done, I would say Invasion USA might be the most entertaining. This is probably the most interesting.
Yeah.
Like this, if they were ever teaching classes on propaganda, this is like, if I was teaching that class, I would show this.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's that fascinating as a cultural artifact that I'm glad it's preserved, and I'm glad it can still be seen. You know, I would hope nobody nowadays takes it seriously.
I'm sure there are.
God knows there probably are, Kevin Sorbo. I would recommend it for that and that alone. So I don't know. I guess the $1 million question on this one is like, what would you even rate this? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Content-wise, I'd say 2, but yet entertainment value, or at least academic entertainment value.
It's interesting. So it has enough going for it that I give it 2.5 stars.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. I would say that it's a very, on the, you know, kind of just a surface level, all right, little story, but it gets an extra half for that bizarre nudge into Christian propaganda.
But they have a flat panel. Do you notice how they have like a flat panel screen for a TV? It predicted, they didn't even mention it, but there it is. It's a flat panel TV.
That's one of the things that's noted about this movie, is that it was the first to feature a flat panel TV. And apparently the images on it are accurate to the size. It's supposedly a 40-inch screen.
Yeah.
And they did accurate matte inserts to make sure it looked realistic. And it does.
It does. It looks good.
Yeah. So they got that going for it. Although they did make a big whoops, Rick.
Oh, I know what they did too.
Yeah. At one point, Linda says Einstein split the atom. He didn't.
Einstein split the atom.
He predicted that someday the atom would be split, but he himself did not do it. So, whoops. But hey, whatever. You know, Jesus forgives them.
Yeah.
So
no awards?
No, this did not win any awards at all. And although it does seem to have a bit more of a presence on Letterboxd, at least, it has 698.
That's more than
people
17.
have logged it. And ratings-wise, it sets it a 2.9 out of 5.
That's kind of right where we're at.
Yeah. Looks like the most people rated it about 2.5 stars. So
yeah,
there you go.
Because they're just as curious. They're just as like scratching their heads too, going,
yeah,
I guess, you know, like
it is, believe it or not, available on a Blu-ray, Rick.
Oh, really?
So, yep. It is available through MGM on, I think it's MOD.
Okay.
Which is made on demand, I think.
But you can get it still. That's
but
great.
But it is the first. This is from a post I'm reading back in 2023, so it's been out for a while. But that was the first Blu-ray release for the film. I've seen some variant covers, so I don't know if somebody else has put it out. But you can get it on Blu-ray if you are interested. And also, you can get used copies of the DVD and the old VHS tape.
So Red Planet Mars is out there.
And last but not least, it is streaming.
Man, you can't avoid Red Planet Mars.
So yeah, it's available, folks. It's not like Red Snow. You can find a nice cleaned up copy of this. And
although Red Snow is easy to find, you just go to YouTube.
Yeah, but it's not a good. Let's just, for the sake of completion, I'll give you a brief little overview of the play. Like I said before, it's called Red Planet, and it was co-written by John L. Balderston and J.E. Hoare. It premiered on Broadway at the Court Theater on December 17th, 1932, but it closed after just 7 performances. So in the play, it was set in London, and it's where society is thrown into upheaval after reception of a mysterious radio message from Mars. The message, quoting the Sermon on the Mount, leads to a surge of religious fervor and societal chaos. The narrative unfolds as a satirical comedy on the susceptibility of societies to manipulation through religious and political ideologies. Now, in the play, the climax reveals that the Martian messages were a hoax perpetrated by a radio operator in the Alps aiming to expose the gullibility of the masses. Now, this was 1932. This is pre-code era, so we were a little bit looser back then with making fun of religion. So it sounds like what happened was they took this in the 50s and said, well, let's turn that around and
make it, because originally it's kind of a comedy. It's a send-up a little bit.
So it looks like when they updated it by taking a more earnest approach, emphasizing themes of faith and anti-communists, and they switched it to America rather than London. And
it became Jesus' favorite film.
Yeah, turned it into a Cold War religious anti-communist propaganda. Now, if you're interested, there are copies of the play that are available through various online library collections. So, hey, seek it out if you want. I doubt I would read it, but if I found somebody performing the original play, I would probably go see it. But now that I've mentioned that it was satire, I'm guessing that Kevin Sorbo and Dean Cain will just want to remake the movie.
Yeah.
Because, Jesus hates Russians and communists. Because the left cannot make films.
For the movies that I do like $3 to $4 million budget movies. It sounds like a lot. That's catering budget in Pirates of the Caribbean. Avatar. Those are $300 million movies. I need people that are willing to fight the culture, because we are losing the culture war. Politics runs downstream from culture. Hollywood runs the culture right along with the mainstream media. So I need people to come in. There's 80 million homes out there that want the movies I do. How do I tap into every one of those and get $1 from each of those people? I get $1 from 80 million homes. I could make 30 movies that have positive values, that positive love and hope and laughter and things that people want.
Hey, you shut your face. If we want to hear you talk, I will shove my arm up your ass and work your mouth like a puppet.
farewell for now, fellow listeners. Please remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Also, every thrilling episode is available on YouTube. And if you're tuning in via Spotify, feel free to leave us a comment. Or if you want to make direct contact, fire off an interstellar message to the unidentified flying podcast at gmail.com. Follow, review, and share. Your engagement helps us battle the nefarious algorithm, the Dark Lord of the universe. And remember, friends, keep watching the skies!
Goddamn you love Russia, don't you?